So I needed to make cards for 70 of my favorite people. I saw a post on Pinterest from Stamp Your Art Out with Rachel using the New Horizons paper. She made all different designs, 3x3 squares, backed on black on a white card, just with various designs on the different papers. Now I didn't have the same stamps that she had. She had all the nice new ones and I did not. But I said, I'm sure I can find something that will work with that. So I got out my stamps and I decided that I would play and see if I could figure out some things to use with it. So I want to show you that technique of how to take some other things that you already have and use them to apply to a new card style that you want to make. Okay, so I'm just going to put all these away so that I can get out my other little technique here. So those are my cards, which I'm almost finished with. So I'm very excited. Okay, so it uses the new designer series paper, New Horizons. If you look at this, it's watercolor, but it is the most amazing watercolor I've seen. You can turn it that way, you can turn it that way, you can flip it over. Both sides of these papers are just gorgeous. You can adapt it to anything you want. So here we have a scene, if I wanted a landscape, but on that side I've got a stormy sky with mountains. I can make it anything I want just by what I add to it. So here's there's another like landscape. So I just took a bunch of these. I cut them up into 4. They're 6x6 papers. So I took a bunch of them and cut them into 3x3 squares. Then I took all of my stamps. I had just a whole mess of old stamp sets that I thought might be able to give me something that I wanted. Okay, so I was looking for designs that were about the right size, and in each of these there's something that I figured would work. So I used a sentiment from this one, I used a sentiment from that one. Here I have this branch with some birds on it. I used the sailboat and the seagulls from this one. I used the trees here and I used the trees there. So what I did was to take a stamp and using StazOn, I stamped onto a piece of, it's actually overhead transparency, okay, window film, window sheets. Okay, so I just stamped onto a piece of transparency using StazOn, because the StazOn, of course, will dry onto this plastic. If you use regular water-based ink, it'll never dry. So be very careful and use only StazOn. And of course, after you finish with your StazOn, be sure you clean your stamps with StazOn cleaner. It's special. Okay, so I just made a little stamp right here. Okay, and it doesn't even matter. See, I don't know if you noticed, but I moved this tiniest little bit, so it's just a little blurry. But this is just a template, okay? So I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna let that dry a second while I grab my StazOn cleaner. So I have StazOn cleaner. I have the old, you can see the old green. That means this stuff's been around a long time, okay? However, even as much as I do with this, I've not used it up. So on my stamp, StazOn cleaner comes with a little foam applicator. So I'm just going to put that on first, and that kind of dissolves. I don't know what it does. It has a, it's the only way you can really release the StazOn ink, or else you're going to have black stamps. Okay, I don't know if you can see right there. I didn't clean it off very well last time. So, stays on cleaner. It'll last you forever. Stays on. Really kind of a specialty thing, but it really is useful. Put those out of the way. Put this out of the way. Now, different ones of these squares are going to be useful for different things. But I'm just going to choose one. And on this section, I think that these trees could be quite stunning. And I may be off to the side a little bit. Could be quite stunning just over here. And here's all the rest of my things that I cut out, that I stamped before. So then I have that bird in a branch. Okay, so it could be right there using the bottom of this white as maybe a lake's edge. And let that be a little lake, okay? You could even have it sailing through a stormy sky with a little bit of a, maybe there's a ripple on the water right there, okay? And then even this larger tree that was from one of my sets. Okay, so then you can apply the, and then decide, how do you like that? Do you like it over here? Do you like it up here? Do you like it down there? And it'll allow you to kind of play around with it before you hit the paper with your ink. Okay, so that's my technique for picking out an old stamp set to use a new technique. Okay, so the rest of the card, it's a 3x3 square with a 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 black square under it. And then if you can see, I popped it up with dimensionals. Okay, I do 5 dimensionals, 1 in each corner plus 1 in the middle. Stamped a random saying at the bottom. This one's out of Very Versailles. I have a real pretty happy birthday in here someplace. My thank you, I think, came from... See, now I don't know. I'll post all of this on the blog. Happiest birthday wishes. I'll find where all of these sayings came from. Okay, those will all be on the blog. And then inside, I posted some, I love this saying. This is out of the new Waves of Inspiration. Okay, Waves of Inspiration. You are so totally awesome. That is just like my favorite saying for the week. Okay, I've used it a bunch of times already. You're so totally awesome. This one also has your strength is an inspiration. Our friendship is a thing of beauty, and happy birthday. Just kind of real all around kind of thing. And I've seen some beautiful things with this wave, which I haven't done yet, but I'm going to. Okay. And then this On the Horizon, which is this matching stamp set to go with the paper. This has some great sayings as well. I used this Thanks for Everything. This grass and the trees in the distance here, those are perfect size to use with some of these horizon looking papers, which of course I grabbed a whole pile of these to show you a couple things, but I didn't grab a horizon. But that's a real nice one for it. Relax and enjoy your day is really nice inside or on the front, either way. Okay, so that's a great set. Inside, I like to take a piece of the designer paper. You know, when you cut paper, the 6x6 really gives you 4 3x3s, and you have to manipulate it a little bit. But I like to cut out a strip of my designer paper just to put here along the edge, because I use the really thick, basic white thick cardstock. And so I don't feel like I really always need 2 layers, but that gives it a little set off, and it gives it a tiny bit more of a substance to that back layer. Okay, so I hope you enjoy it. Head over to the blog for the cutting dimensions and the list of all the stamp sets that I used. Thank you.